Lisa's the co-founder and manager of the Food Baskets Cocoa. Did I say it right? Cocoa Harvest Program on Hawaii Island. With a BS in film and video production, she initially pursued a career in the film industry. In 2017, Lisa redirected her focus and served as an AmeriCorps volunteer, where she specialized in healthy food access. Today, Lisa collaborates with various organizations to improve food security in her community, and occasionally argues with ChatGPT. I like to coax ChatGPT. In this interactive session, participants will collaborate with an AI to craft a grant proposal in real time. Together, we'll work through the process live with input from the audience, sharing strategies. So it's important you share for successful proposal writing and refining ideas as we go. Okay, Lisa, you're on.
Thanks, Barbara. I think we decided we can hear without this. Can everybody in the room hear me okay? No, okay. John is left. Hi, can you hear me now? Yes. This is the way to go. Okay. Zoom people, you can hear me? Thumbs up. Zoom people. Thank you, Tony. Okay. Hi, everybody. Like Barbara said, I'm Lisa. I manage a program called Cocoa Harvest on Hawaii Island. And I occasionally argue with ChatGPT. First thing you should know, I guess after that, is I'm a normie. I am not an AI expert. You will see why in a minute. But any one of you could have written the proposal that got me here. I was just chatting with Kara, and she asked me if I could like run her through. She was like, I don't even know what to ask the machine. Like, how do I even do this? I want to use it. Everybody's using it, but like, how do I harness like that potential energy? So here I am. Thank you for coming. I am checking my notes to make sure I'm not forgetting anything. And I want to set the stage. Like, first of all, this process is not about the end result. Like, we're not going to have a final grant proposal at the end of this. This process, and I'm not going to call it a presentation because it's more like a workshop. It very much depends on your participation. But it is day 2 and it is right before lunch. And if you need like an hour of silence, like we can do that. But I also, if you need that, I also encourage you to go to the video room because that was actually really cathartic and I enjoyed it very much. And it was a very nice, quiet room. So even if you just need like this moment of solitude, that room is for you. Sorry, Zoom people. Anyway, let's get started. This is 100% about the process. So I just want to make that very clear. Okay. Like I said, any one of you could have written the proposal that got me holding the microphone. You may find that title familiar, and I was talking to Casey, who gave an AI presentation yesterday, and he was like summing up the presentation, and he was like, my presentation is like everything I'm telling people to do in my presentation. And I was like, that's really smart. I did exactly the opposite. I copied exactly what ChatGPT wrote, but that is not what, just for the purposes of this presentation, but in general, that is not what I suggest you do. I just wanted to make a point. So if you get nothing else, I do have a couple of slides that kind of prove my point. So you can totally leave after that. But after I go through my slides, we're going to get into like actually talking to the robot. So as you can see, this is what I started with. I was like, I got roped into leading a workshop where we work together. Can you give me a title? And it gave me 2. And I was like, I don't care what it's called. What do you think? And that title you may recognize. That's what I went with. now, and then what I did was like, okay, great. I have no ideas for this because I talked to Sean about this like 15 minutes ago. And so how should I describe the session that you and I are going to work together on? And it said, we're going to craft a compelling grant proposal. We're going to leverage AI tools for effective writing, and we're going to write winning proposals. It also said we were going to walk away with a clear, actionable proposal ready for submission. And I was like, oh, no, we're not. We've got 40 minutes. Don't overpromise. We're gonna craft the proposal live during the session, and the audience is gonna have some input, and we're gonna work it on together. So what I'd like you to take away from this is ChatGPT is our friend, can be our friend, but we need to know what to ask and how to ask it. And so if what you said first didn't really get it right, you can totally ask it to do it again. And so I was like, I don't think you got it the first time. We're going to work together and craft this proposal. But like, it's not going to be about the final proposal, right? So don't worry about asking the machine to like do things again. That's what machines love to do. I don't know if any of you are Star Trek fans, but like I think about Data. Like when I'm talking to ChatGPT, I kind of like it's helpful for me to like be like I'm talking to Data. How would Captain Picard get this information from Data? And if that is not a useful analogy for you, I'm so sorry. I'm sure that there will be others. Did I skip? No, I didn't. Okay. It's familiar because that's on our agenda. That's what I copied and pasted. I don't recommend that's what you do, and I'll get into that later. But for the purposes of this presentation, I just wanted to make the point. You all are nodding and smiling, so I think you get it. Okay. Now I needed a long description. And again, I just like copied what the Symposium's proposal application form was. ChatGPT doesn't care if you copied it. Also, in order to get what you want out of ChatGPT, you need to put in what you want to get out of ChatGPT. I don't know if that really makes sense, but again, just copy and paste it. Don't overthink it. It was a little too long. You'll notice that was very long. Please write a brief bio for yourself, because I don't know. I'm a normie. I don't know how to write a bio for ChatGPT. So I had him do it. They do it. I don't know. I should have asked ChatGPT what their pronouns are, because I'm not sure. I don't know what to call it. I guess if I'm calling him Data, maybe we'll just go with he from now on. And on this slide, so you need to be specific about what you need. If you're not specific, it's just going to shoot out garbage, and it's a waste of time for everybody. And my last point I think I'd like to make before we get into actually using him is always be kind to the robots. Although I did see an article the other day that was like saying please and thank you to ChatGPT is costing them millions of dollars. And that makes me kind of just want to do it more, to be honest. I didn't read why, I just saw the article, but yeah.
Be polite and collaborate.
Well, we need to be polite and collaborate because it learns from what you, this is a side story, like a side quest, but like what you put in trains it to respond. So if you want it to be nice, him to be nice to you, you need to be nice to him first. I know. I mean, yeah, I guess I was also gonna start my thing with like, this is not the space for the AI philosophical debate, because I know there's a lot of challenge with AI, and I had personal reservations about like being sort of like the face of AI for today at least. And I know like AI art, like there's a whole thing, and that's not what we're getting into, although I appreciate it, Catherine. It's not on my mind. Oh, I'm sorry, Katrina, let me let you in. Yeah, so always be kind to the robots. You're training it to be kind to you back. I don't know about you guys, but like confrontation, not my thing. So with ChatGPT giving me an emoji, makes me feel good. That is the end of the presentation. I'm not kidding, that is actually the end of the presentation, but let me pull up, I'm pulling double duty right now. So let me pull up. Hello, ChatGPT. And thank you, Anne, for this proposal. This is what we're gonna work on together. Zoom, you can't see it yet, but please hold while I share. Okay, you can see it. You can see the screen now. Zoom people, yeah. I'm just gonna go unless you guys tell me otherwise. Yes, thank you for the thumbs up. Anne sent me this yesterday because we were talking about it, and I was like, nobody submitted a proposal to work on, so I'm not really sure what I'm gonna do for 40 minutes. So this is our proposal that we're gonna work on today. This is from Wells Fargo. And they very kindly, not all applications do this, but they very kindly gave you like a preview, thank you. It was a preview of their application, so we didn't have to actually like go through it to find all the questions. So my proposal is, or my workshop today, our workshop today is assuming you qualify, assuming you did the research that this is the right proposal for your organizations. It's like, this is not how to apply to a grant. This is how to ask ChatGPT for what you need to apply to the grant. So we're just assuming that you did all the work and we qualify for Wells Fargo. Our collective gleaning project qualifies for this proposal. Okay, now that we have that out of the way, this is the part that was unplanned, so we'll just see how it goes. Okay, I think this is like everything that you guys don't need ChatGPT to fill out because this is all like your organization info, which leads me to another point. ChatGPT is the robot, and as much as we love data, this might not actually be true for data, but it is true for ChatGPT. It does make mistakes and it does shoot out garbage. So you, like, ultimately, you are the human and you are the one who's submitting this proposal that somebody's going to read, and it is reflective of you and not the robot. And so while for the purposes of this presentation, I copied and pasted what ChatGPT spit out, that is not typically how I use the robot. For me, the way that I write, the first draft is the hardest. And for me, I can edit anything. I enjoy editing things. I'm like, that's where I like ideas come, and I get like, especially when I'm writing like alone in my house, like editing something is more of like it gets the creative juices flowing than like my empty Google Doc. And so that's what I use ChatGPT for. It does the first draft and then I edit it until you don't recognize it anymore. Because that's how I work. Us as a group, we're gonna maybe not go so far with that today because that can take many different iterations, and we do that over time. But today we're gonna maybe, I didn't really think through how this might work since all of our programs run a little differently. So we're just maybe gonna have our imaginary, this group's gleaning program that we're gonna attempt to write for. ChatGPT is going to be doing most of it. Okay. So what it's asking for is funding purpose, program project description. Now, this is a real application you can all, if you qualify, apply for. This is all it gave us. What is your funding purpose, project description? So if I were to just ask ChatGPT, this is going to be hard to type and have a microphone. Is that weird? I'm so sorry.
That's right.
Hello, this is very weird. Thank you, Catherine. I'm over here. This is my screen. Okay. If I were to just ask, what's our program? I promise I know how to type. Description. Thank you. It's like, I guess my first point is going back to specificity. It has no idea what we're talking about, right? So how this is where this becomes a workshop and I need input because I know how to do this. So I guess the point of moving forward is how to ask it what we want. And so if we're writing a proposal and we're asking Wells Fargo, I think the max was 10 grand maybe. So if we're going to ask for 10 grand for our imaginary gleaning project, what would you all ask it?
So this is a question. It goes out, so I'm gonna say, what's the program description for Ishkashita Refugee Network? And it goes out and finds out who that is and what it does and comes up with its best estimate of what a program description is. Is that it's using?
It could do that. So for our Zoom folks, the question is, if I asked it for the program description of my program, can it spit that out? And it could. We're using the free version right now, so there's definitely limitations, but I am using the free version on purpose because I assume many of us are not paying for the pro version or whatever they call it. Does that answer your question? It can sometimes. What I would do, I will get to you in a second, Brandis. But what I would do is I would give it a description of my program that I've already written. And then I would either, depending on the needs of the grant, I would ask it, okay, this is the description that I have. Can you make it 100 characters, or can you make it 250 words or whatever? Because often we're working with limitations. Yes, Brandis.
I was gonna say, yeah, very specific. You might be able to link in your website, or you might have to copy paste specific evidence from your website about the organization. I use chat.
Yeah, totally. So Brandis, for our Zoom folks, Brandis was saying you can sometimes enter the website. So maybe let's just do it. What's your website, Barbara?
www.iskashita. ISKASHIT.
Oh, I forgot what is it, .org?
Yes, and you have an extra H in there. ISK. Yep.
Okay. This is our second thing. ChatGPT wants to improve or whatever, and sometimes you need to help it, which is fair because it's helping you. So, which one do we like?
Wow.
So for just to summarize what we're doing, we're going to use Barbara's organization, Ishkashita Refugee Network, as an example. We didn't give it a program description, then we gave it a website, and now it's saying, okay, I have this response and I have this response. Which do we prefer? And one of them is a little bit longer than the other, but mostly the same. Mission, and impact. Core programs, impact, additional initiatives. I don't want to like spend our time going into like the details of what it's actually saying. But one thing, especially when you're talking about a program that's real and you're active and you're doing stuff, read it and make sure it's right. Like, again, it will spit out garbage. It will make stuff up, especially when you don't give it as much information as it needs.
Is that right?
Is it right, Barbara?
There's something lower down about like ESL classes or
Yeah,
something that's
that's
wrong,
what
and I
I-
assume, yeah, there's just gonna be some wrong stuff. in there.
Great. And that came from Wikipedia. That didn't even come from the website that we put in. So you,
It's telling you where you're
That's
it's
great.
getting stuff.
if you take nothing else from this workshop, you need to read what's happening. And I just got a comment from Zoom. If you haven't used deep research, it's available now on the free plan as well. It's quite amazing and useful. It can look at your website, social media, the grant website, and pull all things together. I think that's what we're demonstrating now, Tony. Give me a thumbs up if that's true. So Ishkashita, which do we prefer? Probably the one that doesn't have false information.
Shorter.
Shorter one, great. Okay, what's our program description? I think we have a program description. And this is audience participation. Do we want to keep going with program description? Do we feel like this fit the bill of the very brief prompt that we are working with?
Yeah, I think you would have to pick one of those.
I think we would have to make it a little shorter.
Yes.
Okay. My microphone stand left.
Now she's too loud.
She walked
Can
away.
we narrow
Copy the-
it and because 9 times out of 10, when you're asking for funding, they want to see new stuff. So can we ask it, can you take our harvesting program and include youth development?
Okay,
Good idea.
so Anne had a really good point for our Zoom people and to reiterate for our room people. Often grants are asking us for something new. So Anne is saying, hey, can we have that? We like that for the purposes of this presentation. But can we have, what did you say?
Take our harvesting program and incorporate youth development.
Can we take our harvesting program and incorporate youth development? Okay, let's see how it goes. Great, thank you. Always be kind to the robot. Can you take our harvesting I know how to type, I swear, program, and I know how to spell
It
description.
takes typos.
And include, what did you say, Anne, a youth program or a
Youth development.
youth
That's the new
development component?
How can you incorporate youth in your program?
I'm absolutely not gonna do that.
Okay, we're not saying Ishkashita's gonna do this,
No, it's a good exercise.
but it is a good, okay, this is helpful.
We hardly heard this.
Okay. Again,
Here's
this
my
could be
question.
any of you.
How do we take an existing program and make it act like a new program?
Well, that's a separate conversation.
Wells Fargo happy.
ChatGPT and you can write that proposal for next year. Okay, so, great, thank you. Can you take our harvesting program description and include a youth development component? Absolutely, it's nice to you because you were nice to him. Okay, so now, Ishkashita's harvesting program brings together refugees, volunteers, community members to harvest surplus fruits, vegetables, and plants for backyards. I'm trying to scan for the youth. A youth development component now engages local youth, both refugee and non-refugee, in every stage of the harvesting process. Through hands-on participation, young people learn about food systems, sustainability, teamwork, and leadership. Mentorship opportunities pair youth with experienced volunteers and refugees, encouraging intercultural learning and community building. The program also offers workshops and reflection activities that promote environmental stewardship and social responsibility. This expansion not only enriches the harvesting experience, but also cultivates the next generation of change makers in our community.
Wow. That's a great program. I'll
You
take
guys
it.
have such a sick program. Something else that I really like ChatGPT for is especially for first drafts, and like Anne said, often you're trying to like think of something that kind of goes with something you're already doing, but you're like maybe doing it in a different, I was gonna say in a weird way, in a different way, maybe like Barbara was saying earlier for our chat or our Zoom people. The ideas that it can come up with when you're not very specific can be really helpful, and you can harness that. So everybody kind of oohed at that whole second paragraph. But again, for the purposes of our workshop, maybe we like some of it, but maybe the mentorship is not in our, like, it's just like, that's too much. We don't have the staff capacity. In this case, I might just take that out. And then you can ask it, hey, okay, we like the first part of that second paragraph. Can you expand on it? Which I'll do right now. We love that.
You're very nice to the robots.
You have to be nice to the robot. Second paragraph, and expand on the first part, but exclude mentorship. And now it's expanding on mentorship. I think you guys kind of get the point. Let's go back to our, unless this is helpful.
Always.
Is this level of detail helpful?
Yeah. I'm
Okay.
curious about this thing that Tony mentioned, this deep research button. Like, could we say like, now can you include some compelling statistics about youth development or something? Like, can you get it to give you data to back up why this is important?
Then you have to research the data.
Yeah.
But is that what the deep, oh, well, yeah, you have to research it out.
There's also a limit. Okay, Tony, from our Zoom says deep research is a separate feature. There's a button for it below in the chat, which I found. Excuse me. Do we just click it? Tony, yes. I'm hearing a yes. Okay, so what do we need research on for our proposal? We need research on food waste. Agreed?
Well, let's look for statistics on youth disengagement in southern Arizona.
Yeah.
Disengagement?
Well, that would be the kind of youth we want to be involving.
Or like the importance of youth development.
So did you hit enter or did you
Or
click
did you
deep
click,
research?
yeah.
Well, I've already clicked deep research.
Oh, okay.
Tony's saying deep research will go and spend a bunch of time on its own researching a topic you ask it about. It will come back with a report and references and everything included. Thanks, Tony. Is it doing that now? How do I know?
I
See,
think
I told you any one of you could have written up here with the microphone.
disengagement isn't clear enough.
Lack of engagement or something else?
Okay.
Lisa, can you hover over deep research? What did it say?
It just gives us that we have 5 deep researches available
Oh,
until
no.
June 1st.
No.
So I think like in the way that when you Google, you have to hit on a certain search term that it recognizes, kind of like you might say social isolation instead of disengagement.
Well, it says lack of civic engagement. That's
Right,
what it
yeah.
is estimated,
Suggested.
Do I hit it now? No, see, it's just kind of. See, I wasn't nice to it and now it's just not being nice to me. Understood. Thank you, Data. And see, okay, this time it is, because it didn't understand, so it asked for clarification and now it's doing the deep research and we will see what it comes back with, hopefully in the next 10 minutes. That's how long we have left.
So
Thank you. Yes, Tony. Tony says it usually asks a follow-up and then it's doing its own thing. And now we can maybe continue our proposal.
so it can multitask.
It's multitasking. Okay. Let's see what the rest of our proposal, detailed program project information, which I think we've already gotten. I think I'm gonna skip ahead to budget because it can also help you budget. Yeah? Okay. So, Chat GPT, here we go. What did we say, 10 grand?
Yeah.
I've already forgotten what you.
For the youth, for the youth, harvesting program or whatever, youth development.
Youth Development Program. Okay. Think it's thinking.
Oh, so maybe it can't
Maybe
do
it
both.
can't multitask.
Did you return?
It did.
But you could open another window? I mean, we'd lose all this, I guess.
We would, yeah, so we would lose our progress if I opened another window, although look, azed.gov, look at you. I don't know, is it helpful if I let it do its deep research? Do we want to see that, or do we want to go home and play with that later and then move on?
Will it let you hit the search button now?
It's got the stop, which this stop is like, I can't go yet. Don't know what that is. Oh, Grammarly. No, thank you, Grammarly. Although another version of AI. I think it's kind of taking a while, so I think I'm just gonna stop it.
Resources.
I want you to stop, please. Thank you. And now we're just gonna move along because I am not a numbers person. I often use Chat GPT to help me with simple math, which maybe I should not admit.
But I don't, its math might be worse than mine, actually.
It's math can be bad, and yes, that is another good point. I'm terrible at math, and I've caught math mistakes from the robot. So yes, I think that underlines the point, Amelia, yeah.
So the math's
Amelia,
right.
it underlines the point to double check his work.
So we've never put insurance liability coverage into a.
Right, so again, yeah, thank you, ChatGPT, we're working so well together.
Gave them t-shirts and water bottles.
The idea generation is
We upcycle.
incredible. Because yes, you could easily forget to include insurance in your budget. You could easily forget to include something like snacks in your budget. And okay, you said the math was right, I'm gonna believe you. Look, youth stipends, like, did anybody,
Yeah,
before I hit enter, go youth stipends?
We're obsessed.
Like, that's, okay, it happened and he knew. Okay, what do we like about the budget? We like the stipends, we like having a program coordinator, we like having transportation and snacks and insurance.
I love.
Maybe we don't need marketing and research at $400, maybe we have another grant for that. I don't think you need ChatGPT to move $400 around for you, but like, that's kind of the thought process that's going through my head when I'm looking at something that I asked ChatGPT to do. I look at it and I go, that was a great idea. Thank you so much for the insurance, light bulb.
I love that contingency fund.
Contingency fund, so does ChatGPT. I've asked it to make many budgets. It loves putting a contingency fund. It really does. It's often included. What other, okay, so the budget was a hit. Again, just, you're the human. So, yeah, okay. Again, like maybe you don't need $400 for marketing and research, but when you're working in your separate document that isn't ChatGPT, you're gonna move that $400 around. And you're gonna make another line item for insurance.
Like, ask it, one thing I noticed it's missing is like, what will owe on for like employer taxes. So could you say like, based on whatever the rate is in Arizona, can you incorporate the employer tax that will owe for paying the program coordinator?
Yeah, so for Zoom, the question is about, it has program coordinator pay, but it doesn't have like employee payroll taxes. It's probably assuming a contract worker. It's also, I mean, maybe it's assuming you don't have to pay that kind of stuff, which I guess is also a contract worker. But yeah, let's see what it says. Please. I'm not gonna talk. We're just gonna type. Give me a number for payroll taxes.
In Arizona.
7.5.
Thank you.
But it could just,
Or like,
right, it could calculate it based on your state. without you-
percentage, tax based on, put it like in Arizona.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Okay. I didn't do that. Stab it. You can also just, use voice mode. That would have been fun. Now it's researching what payroll taxes in Arizona, are. Let's see what he says. Oh, certainly. Payroll taxes, employer share. I can't add percents. Is that roughly accurate, Arizona people?
It's supposed to add up to 7.65.
It's about, yeah.
Okay, wait. Hold on. Can you add the? This might not, it doesn't have to search the web, so this might not come with what I asked it to. No, it didn't. See, sometimes you really do have to be specific.
There it says right there.
Oh, there it goes. Yes.
For metrics for success.
Measure, yeah, oh my gosh, yes, you certainly can. Let's do that. I was just wondering what we were gonna do next. So the question from the audience for Zoom folks was, and I guess recording folks, is can you ask it for metrics for success? So we're gonna assume that our description, we wrote and we love it. Our budget, we wrote and we love it. Now we're gonna ask it for metrics for success. Thank you so much.
You said more success.
Oh, look at,
For success.
yeah, okay, thank you. He often
Corrects you.
understands what you mean. And he bolded it to make sure I knew I was wrong. Okay, so key metrics for success for the youth development program. We want to have, so participant, he loves categorizing things. So you'll notice the more you use it. And I don't know when this started, but the emoji use is off the chart. I do not include emojis in my grant proposals. But yeah, so loves categorizing. So we have participation and engagement, skill development, community impact, youth voice and feedback, long-term outcomes, if feasible to track, which is new for me. I've never seen ChatGPT go, if you can. It's often just spitting out direction. Okay.
10 years.
So what do we like about these metrics? Number of youth participants, stop it. It has a target of 20. We think we can do 40. We're just gonna write 40. We don't need to ask ChatGPT to do it again. We're just gonna write 40 when we're writing out our grant proposal. But if we didn't even think of metrics for success, number of youth, which maybe we would have, maybe that's not a good example, but if we didn't even think about it, now we have something to go off of.
And what if you were like, I want this to, a lot of these things, they want you to write like 500 words. So could you say like, elaborate on this in prose or something?
Yeah, again, another
Give us a narrative.
good, yeah, so, okay, please.
I ask it to do things like
I'll write an email and say, please take the sarcasm out of this.
Make this nice.
And she does.
Sarcasm for board members.
For our Zoom and recording people, there's a lot of banter happening that I've.
But the point is, you can use emotions.
So the point is you can also use ChatGPT to help you write professional sounding emails. Yeah, okay. So I asked ChatGPT to take those metrics for success, which it bulleted. I asked it for that in a 500-word narrative. And you have to be careful when asking ChatGPT for any sort of character count or word count. Often he's wrong, and I don't actually know why. So you just have to check it. Some grants, like, they just count words differently. Like, I've seen portals count like hyphenated words as 2 words, hyphenated words as 1 word. Like, it's just, some things kind of are tricky like that.
Count space.
But it's, well, with characters, it will count spaces, and yeah, so you just need to check it. That's my underlying theme for the whole workshop, I think. Did anybody scan this? Do we like this? This feels like more than 500 words to me. I'm just like, it's feeling like a lot to read.
But I'm liking the phrases like our evaluation framework.
Okay, so Anne is saying, or anonymous audience member is saying, that they liked the specific phrasing that it's saying. So maybe she wouldn't use, you know, this whole entry narrative, thank you. But, you know, maybe these particular, very like grant toned phrases are like something that she would pull out and maybe use. Yes, Brandon.
I have another question. So I've used it to make my writing better, but I still had to find the sources,
Yes.
cite the sources. So there's all these words here with no citations. And I don't know if that's necessary in grants, but it's still plagiar.
Well, okay, so Brandis is saying that she often cites things, and then when ChatGPT is writing, there's no sources, and then if we're gonna copy it, it's plagiarism. Yeah, it is, which is why I'm saying don't copy it. Don't do what I did at the beginning. That was for the permanent of the example. But you want, this is, for me, this is always the starting point. And everything, yeah, I use it to improve my writing.
Yeah.
And like to Barbara's point, to make it sound a little bit more professional and to get the tone just right. And like what Anne was saying, like key phrases, Data, our friend, Mr. Robot, can sound really neutral. Which is the tone that a lot of grants kind of go for, is that like neutral. It can also sometimes so like be like this beautiful whatever, and I just take out the flourishes. But it can mostly keep that neutral tone. And if you ask it, like, okay, so this is a little bit of a side story. But a colleague of mine and I wrote a grant together, and we loved it. We submitted it, whatever. And then we were like, I wonder if we asked ChatGPT to write it in Shakespearean English, what would happen? And we did it, and it's the best proposal we've ever written. That was just for fun. I've never submitted a Shakespearean English one, although we were tempted because it was very good. But you can ask, okay, so great. Let's just assume we like this and it was 500 words, but like, okay, we're going to do something. Great. Humorous, is that how you spell it? 500 word success metrics narrative written in a warmer tone, more humorous tone.
Yeah.
While keeping it professional and funder appropriate.
And funder appropriate, it knows what we want.
Let's talk, show me.
Okay, so here's how we'll know our youth development program is working. The fruit is flying off the trees, the kids are showing up, no one's pretending they forgot their gloves again.
Good.
You know, like,
We'll keep an eye on who comes back this week and not just for the snack.
if 75% or more report they've learned something besides mulberries stain, we're
Wow.
counting that as a win.
Great.
You, like,
Impressive.
it's fun
Yeah.
to play with, and like, I like to play with language, and I find that fun, so I find this enjoyable, and I find, for me, like, the solitary act of writing a grant can be really lonely and isolating, and not to sound like a total loser, but this makes me feel less alone and isolated.
Do you feel like ChatGPT has some like tells where it like
Yes.
things it does, it makes it obvious it was written by a computer?
Yes, so the question is, do I think that ChatGPT has, what was the word that you used, tells, that make it seem like it's the computer who wrote it? Yes, the answer is yes. First, the categories. I don't write in categories the way that ChatGPT does. If I were to scroll up. The bold can also be a tell, although I've seen that in other proposals, so it's not necessarily a tell, although categories are not necessarily only ChatGPT. The other thing that I will say might be my number one tell, people when writing don't often use like the M dashes, like the hyphens. ChatGPT uses them all the time. Like where I would write parentheses, it does hyphens. Which to me, like I'll read something. I actually was reading something the other day and I was like, ChatGPT wrote this. And I knew that because of the hyphens that were like the aside that I would put in parentheses. It always uses hyphens. So that is your tell when you're reading something. And it's like, I don't know if it did it here, because it is getting better.
Yeah.
Where is it?
Down lower.
Down lower.
It's more of the humorous section.
Yeah,
Oh, down way lower.
yeah.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, right here. We'll also track impact in pounds dash of produce. It's all over. If 85% of them say they have a positive experience and not just because of the free t-shirt, we'll be thrilled. I would put parentheses there, not that I would say that, but I would put parentheses around there where he uses hyphens. And it's down here too. I would use maybe a colon or a semicolon. I'm not reading the sentence, but I would not use a hyphen there. I would not choose to use a hyphen. We don't typically use that. And I don't know why ChatGPT does. Again, I'm a normie. I don't know why. That's just how he writes. Great. I think we are like well over our time. I have eaten into your lunch. Any other questions? Any questions from Zoom? Questions? Was this helpful?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, okay, anybody else have any more tells?
Does anybody else have tells? Those are my big ones, is the categories and the hyphens. Has anybody else noticed any tells?
I think when you're asked it to do like social media and it uses a lot of like, it uses excessive adverbs or adjectives.
Adverbs and adjectives are another tell, especially for social media, just for our Zoom folks who didn't hear that. Any other tells that people have noticed? Thank you so much for your time. Thank you for coming. We're gonna, it uses a lot of commas, Tony says. And sometimes it uses them in the wrong place. Again, you're the human. Like, you're not gonna, I really, really hope you're not gonna copy and paste what ChatGPT said and submit it. the purpose of this presentation is to use it as a first draft or for idea generation or budget line items to make sure like you wrote your budget. Now ask ChatGPT to write the budget. Oh my gosh, ChatGPT included insurance. I totally forgot about that. You know, and then you copy and paste and like, can you help me refigure the math or whatever? Yes.
We did write a grant.
Wait.
We did all the writing and then we had a chat kind of make it, there were some categories and we submitted it that way.
Yeah.
Kind of officially copy pasted one that worked.
Yeah.
That wasn't working front end. For me, like, I like that you're thinking of it as an idea generator, but I think it'd be backwards in my mind. But, you know,
Totally.
yeah.
That is my personal opinion that is coming through because I'm the one with the microphone. Like I said, any of you could have submitted this proposal, right? And maybe like if you had, and if you were up here, like that could be your message too, which is, and again, for our Zoom folks, the sentiment was, you know, we use ChatGPT to kind of help us write it, and that's what we submit. Is that accurate?
Yeah.
We rebranded
That's,
last year
I'm not your moral guideline, like whatever, do what's right for you.
and they actually asked Google AI to go through the website and come up with a new name for the organization. And that's where Community Harvest came from. It was actually AI generated.
Another story about how AI generated the name for the organization that was ultimately chosen. Thank you all for being here. Thank you. I will also say, sorry, one more thing.
One more thing, guys.
I live in Hawaii, and so often I'm saying aloha mahalo, like whatever. And I have also run into, just to underline the point of like, it has given me Hawaiian words that are not Hawaiian words. So again, like underlining this point of like, use it, but check it, please check it. Like, I'm so aware of like, in Hawaiian, you would say kuleana, which is like your responsibility. And I'm so aware of that. And I live in fear of getting something in Hawaiian wrong. And so I like checked the Hawaiian dictionary and I was like, it's not, where did they make this word up from? Please check, use it, check it, have fun with it, ask it to do a grant in Shakespearean because it was really funny. Here you go, Barbara, and enjoy lunch.
Thank you so much. Here's